Part One-on-One with Mr. Burgher.
Welcome to Art One-on-One. I'm your pod boss, Nicole Jordan, alongside your professional artist, master educator, and America's favorite art teacher, Mr. Burgher.
I'm here. I don't know. There's a thing I usually say, and you usually say I say something wrong.
That was better.
And
at least
so
you're a little excited.
Yeah. We're
at it again.
We're at it.
No, that's not how you say it.
We're getting to the end of the school year. I'm getting a little rowdy and rambunctious, a little chomping at the bit for the end and ready to run and go crazy in the summertime. You know how us teachers do. It's like, summertime! Then we just hit the beach and, you know.
Yeah.
That's the reality of teachers.
Yeah.
Can you...
Or you get second jobs.
Can you taste a little bit of sarcasm in that?
Well, I'm going to hold you to it is what I'm going to do.
It's not true.
Oh.
We, as teachers, we try to re-energize and all of the rest, but boy. Anyway, not to get off too far off topic, but I do want to mention to you before we get rolling too far.
I don't like this class.
Sweet pod boss of mine.
Yes.
That I have recently dropped several new wild and crazy designs on redbubble.com. And so if you want to look for a funky design like, Art 101, Art One-on-One merch type stuff, you can find all kinds of things. And pro wrestling and non-necessarily art-related designs also on Redbubble.
You can have a little off-the-wall stuff all across the board.
And this is not this is not a promotion. This is not a paid advertisement. This is just a public service announcement so that people know, hey, if you want some stuff, here's where you can go. That's it.
I don't know why you don't say it more often. You put your art on there. You put your designs on there. I've bought a couple shirts off there. I want that 1976 shirt, I told you.
Yeah.
There's some there's some good stuff, and there's some interesting stuff, and there's some
Well, there's some stuff that,
according to me.
Like, there's some stuff that's really cool for a sticker, and there's some stuff that's really cool for a t-shirt. There's some stuff that's really cool for maybe not everything for everybody, but, Yeah, I love that you're going to stick that right next to the microphone.
Do you notice I'm doing it super slow?
So I can hear that clankety-clankety
super quiet
ice going in there.
Fine, I'll just keep it in my hands.
Perfect.
All right, so let's dive into our first segment, which what do you say? Our longest running segment, right?
Apparently that's what I say.
I think you do. Ask the Art Guides.
Ask the Art Guides, our longest running...
Thank you for repeating.
So, the card which is going to lead the direction, we're getting low on the cards. We've only got a handful.
And we spilled them, and we're not sure which ones we used.
Well, that was I've gone through, and I think I've resorted them. Yeah, because we had all of the cards organized, and then the card deck flipped, and oh god, and then it was like, oh my god, did we do whomever,
but
whatever,
we have not done
but
Louise
we have not
Bourgeois.
Louise Bourgeois. Louise Bourgeois. Sometimes I say.
Do you know anything about Louise?
I've seen her work. I wouldn't say that I'm very well educated on her stuff. I've seen some of her big spider sculptures at the Pompidou Center in Paris. I've seen some, which is a very contemporary art museum in Paris. But other than that, I am not real vastly knowledgeable on who she is and what she does.
I just barely looked her up, and it says that, she's known for her large sculptures, spiders, which...
Big spiders.
Here's what I think is the only thing that I really read on her was, I was trying to figure out why she liked spiders so much, or why she used spiders.
What would you come up with?
Well, what research said was that like the symbolism for her mother, something regarding her mother, and I'm thinking
really?
a spider and her mom.
She must have had a really good childhood.
Like protection.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting because
I don't know that I would associate a spider with protection. But,
exactly. But it's all.
But I don't know. Maybe there's something like, and I'm not really sure if she's a surrealist or what she is. I don't really know that much background or history.
I'll let you pick that today.
But
whether you want the life, the works, or what's the other one?
Inspiration.
I
think that you're kind of putting me on the spot.
I know.
Usually
This is what you like doing to me.
I like you to plan out. Like you pull the card, you come up with the thing, and then I don't have to do any of it. I think that, man, like I said, you're putting me on the spot, and I'm trying. And you know that I'm very indecisive when it comes to things. you will like, for example, I'll go to the grocery store and I'll just stand and stare at choosing.
This is why I don't go to the grocery store. I online shop and pick it up.
Choosing between 1% and 2% milk is like, God, I kind of want the 2%, but the 1% I got a little bit better date. Oh,
you are such a weirdo. Pick the damn card.
Well,
pick the damn saying on the card.
It's hard to make a decision like on the fly, and you gave me no advance notice.
I have been picking them on the fly for a while.
I know, and you're good at it. So why are we changing the formula?
Then give it back.
No. I don't know which one to do.
Lord.
Draw on private pain to connect with the public.
So on your own pain? Your own private pain?
Draw on private pain to connect with the public. Which is the inspiration.
It's definitely not.
It's
inspirational.
Well, it's maybe not inspirational, but it was her inspiration for her creative juices.
Well, and I think what she's referring to is just like connecting with people, letting people relate to her through pain,
right.
Which obviously everybody has gone through something. But I don't.
I think some people have gone through a lot more than others.
Well, obviously, but everybody's gone through some type of pain.
I know little kids that have gone through shit that most human beings couldn't imagine. I mean, to be really honest about it, I've got former students that have dealt with traumas that would make some people, and I've also got former students that have throughout their lives have been very fortunate not to deal with horrible things, and that's not necessarily a bad thing to not have gone through traumas and instability and all of that. But I'm getting off topic.
Yeah, you are. And I think the truth is you just got to find a hook, right, to that connects people, connects with people, makes them be able to, what's the word I'm looking for, like it just draws them in, and pain is definitely one of those. You can I can't even come up with words right now.
Okay. Well, words are hard sometimes, but I do think that you're right. I mean, I think what you're saying is right. If I can.
Well, there's a word I'm looking for, and all I can get is connect. But like.
But I do think that there are artists that use their life experiences, whether positive or negative, to pull people in, because those are things that people are passionate about. You look at, for example, there's a photographer. His name is Robert. No, his name is not Robert. His name is William Wegman. William Wegman is a very prominent photographer that is famous for his photographs of dogs. And
did he make up that name because of dogs? His last name?
No, that's his real last name.
What is his name?
Wegman.
Oh.
William Wegman.
Okay.
Why would you think that was made up to be a dog name?
I thought you said I thought you said something different, like the dog wagging. You know, like wagging.
Yeah. No. Wegman. William Wegman, I believe, is how he pronounces it.
Okay.
But anyway, he's a very famous photographer who is very famous for his photographs of his dogs. And it started off very innocently as he had a dog that just kept getting in the way of his taking videos for a class. And one thing led to another, and it was, all right, well, this dog wants to be in all these photos, so I'm just going to take pictures of the dog. And he would make funny sketches and videos and all kinds of things around the dog, whose name was Man Ray, named after the famous photographer. He was not the photographer. Anyway, one thing led to another, and he got more and more dogs, and he just kept taking photos and made books and did all kinds of things with the dogs, and he loved the dogs, and so he was taking pictures of things that he loved, and there were people that did paintings of things that they loved. There's people that do things that are very positive and upbeat, and but then there are people that also, like some of the things that I do, are very draw on things that are maybe not completely positive, on loss and death and hardships and negative experiences, not necessarily positive experiences.
Right.
But like my current series that I'm working on now, and I've got a show coming up in July, and some things are on sale, and if you want to purchase some of those things, you can find it out there in the world. Anyway, those things that I'm doing in some of the current series that I'm working on are much more positive and much more pop culture-y and things that I enjoy, as opposed to things that are traumatic or whatever.
Well, I think, no matter what, if it's something that you're passionate about, it seems like that's what's going to draw people in.
For sure.
No matter what you're doing, whether it's art or selling a service or whatever, if people know your heart's in it and you're passionate about it, it's going to draw them.
I agree.
To it.
Yeah. I think people
Even if it's pain, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. Even if it's pain. And speaking of pain,
what?
We recently went on a road trip and ended up...
It's painful because I had to sit in the car with you for hours?
Oh my God.
Is that
sometimes
what was painful?
Sometimes it is.
I don't think... Our road trips are good.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have great talks on our road trips.
We do. We have good... until... What are you doing? Put on your headphones because I don't want to hear that video.
Oh, gosh.
I don't want to hear about politics. I don't want to hear... I don't want to hear about...
That is painful. That is definitely painful to me.
Put in your earbuds. I don't like you.
Yeah. You can listen to all the art stuff you want, but I do not want to listen to politics.
Right. Well, and most of the time I don't want to listen to it either, but I do.
That's not true. Why would you listen to it then?
Because I want to know. I want to know information.
Okay.
Anyway, so we took a road trip.
Yes.
We ended up in several places, and there will be a couple videos coming out in the not too distant future on our adventures.
To Stone City.
We were piddling around, and I've wanted to go to Stone City for a long time to see the town that Grant Wood famously painted and had his summer art camp deal in. And so I thought, yeah, this would be a good opportunity to go and check it out. And so we did that, and we checked out his studio in Cedar Rapids, which is just a stone throw away, and it makes me think, like when he was doing that in the summertime, was he commuting back and forth? I could only assume that he would have been, and And
yeah, but they had housing there, so why would they? I don't think he would have.
I don't know.
It was what, about 40 minutes back?
Yeah, 40
minutes from his.
But that's by like modern interstate.
Yeah,
not country road.
And when did they say he lived in the studio?
It was the 19. Well, he lived
28.
I think he moved into the studio in the 20s, but the art colony was 1932, 1933.
Yeah.
And but yeah, and so I couldn't imagine that 1930s transportation was, maybe he wasn't commuting back and forth. Maybe he was just hanging, because he was going every day. He would have been there just about every day. So anyway,
what was it called? The Stone City Art Colony?
I think something like that. I think is what he called it.
Yeah.
But
ended up, what I think is cool about one of the things that's cool about it is they didn't really make a lot of money, because a lot of times they like traded the art for the room and board and work and things like that, right?
So if you helped out, okay, if you help out around this, then so they basically broke even on it. They weren't making money. But again, it was the beginning of the Great Depression.
Right.
So the timing might not have been optimal for what he was doing.
And that was prior to him. No, it was during the time he was at Iowa City, right?
No, it was before he went to Iowa City.
It was before he went to Iowa City.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because they talked about like he loved his life until, which I just wonder how much of that is perceived.
There are, with most things, and again, sometimes I feel like I'm far too knowledgeable for my own good about certain things.
Far too arrogant for your own good, maybe.
Well, I don't, maybe, I mean, that's your perception. I think it's kind of, I think that's kind of a negative thing to say on a podcast that focuses on the things that I'm supposed to know. But
the comment was arrogant, not.
I mean, maybe the comment's arrogant, maybe the facts are arrogant, but the facts remain that I have done a lot of research and have a lot of knowledge on things, and there weren't a lot of things that the guide at the Grant Wood home and studio museum said that was way off from like the facts of what I knew. Yeah. But like, for example, excuse me. But for example, one of the things that was said was, in Cedar Rapids, he was a little bit better mood, a little bit more upbeat. He was much more productive. That's undisputed. That's a fact. And it is true that the other art professors at the University of Iowa did not treat him well.
Because they thought he was like a hick farmer that really didn't know art, or what?
Part of it, and part of that was also that the art world was changing. The art world was shifting away from this American regionalist sort of painting into abstract expressionist and more. The world was changing from a art world that looked like Grant Wood had painted it to an art world that looked like Jackson Pollock had painted it. And over a very short period of time, it went from one extreme to the other.
I thought he was what made regionalism popular.
He is. He is one of the driving forces behind what made American regionalism popular. But it was seen as old hat. It was seen as, the old way of doing painting. It wasn't really abstract. It wasn't really particularly. It was old school.
Yeah.
Again, in a very short period of time, it went from, again, a world of Grant Wood's creation to a world that looked like Jackson Pollock had painted it. And you don't get much more contrasting than those two dynamics. And in a very short period of time that was occurring, and the people at the University of Iowa saw Grant Wood as this, old school painter. He made one good painting, and that's it. And
he didn't help by dressing in bib overalls every single time.
But he wanted to have the identity of a farmer,
even though he didn't like farming. Was the truth, right?
He didn't.
He didn't like animals. He didn't like.
It's not that he didn't like animals. He liked animals fine. The thing was, he didn't live on a farm very long. He only lived on a farm till he was 7 or 8 years old, because his dad was a farmer and his dad had died.
That's right. Yeah.
And after his dad died, his mom couldn't maintain a farm, and so they got rid of the farm. Whether they were renting it or they had owned it, I don't know. But I'm assuming, based on how they lived, that they were probably renting the farm that they lived on, and they moved away from the farm and into the city, and that's where they lived, and one thing led to another, and
So what age was he when he acquired the studio above what used to be the horse stables?
Oh boy, he would have been probably in his early 30s.
Oh.
Late 20s, early 30s.
And at what point did he go to the Chicago Art Institute?
He was in his mid 30s, I believe. That would have been 1930. So yeah, mid to late 30s probably.
I have to say, going to his art studio, just knowing the history and then the transformation that happened with him being there, and it was a cool space. I enjoyed doing that tour. If anyone's ever in Iowa and near the Cedar Rapids area, just going to Cedar Rapids, seeing his art studio, and then jumping up to Stone City, which is 40 minutes away. It was a fun. I really enjoyed the day, and it was just a simple thing that you never would think would be in Iowa.
Stone City's a unique little town, and there's not a whole lot there, but there are some neat buildings. There's some neat history and some things that go on there. And if you catch an event, it might be a little different. We just happened to show up on a random,
I think
day.
We read about the buildings and the history on the way there, and so it was this little what's that called when you go on a search for,
right, like a little scavenger hunt.
Yeah. And so then we found the map afterwards of the places, which was in the most obvious place. But
right.
So we were kind of driving around and looking for the buildings and taking pictures and.
Well, and we stopped. We talked to a couple folks and snooped around and took some photos and some videos and read up on some things and collected some information.
It does surprise me how many of the buildings and the structures and that are privately owned now. Most of them are privately owned, except for the mill. I think what wasn't privately owned.
Most of what is in the painting is privately owned, but that's to be expected. They were probably privately owned back then. It's just a matter of that he had included them in a painting, and they just always stayed in, circulation. And again, in his work, with Stone City anyway, he took some liberties. He took some stuff out. He put some stuff in. He kind of rearranged the town a little bit. Is that your favorite piece of art of his?
No.
My
I know you hate that question.
My favorite Grant, I do hate that question. My favorite Grant Wood is probably American Gothic, just because it's so well known. But other than that one, I would say The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere is up there. I really like that one.
You know what my favorite is?
The Daughters of the Revolution.
I want that painting. I want that in my bar area or something like that. I don't know. I just the feistiness of the women and the meaning behind it, and I don't know, just his. I just thought that was I really like that.
But yeah, but there are some other. There's a lot of Grant Wood paintings that Arbor Day is a good one. I like that one. It's got the old schoolhouse where they're planting the tree. I mean, that's a good one. There's a lot of Grant Wood paintings that I really, really like. Because I think that a lot of them, Young Corn is another one. Just because I think a lot of times people, like for us as Iowans, like that's kind of that's what it looks like. But at the same time, we drive past it every day, and so it becomes, just a part of our everyday life. We don't really stop and think, wow, this is really pretty land, or this is really a cool place. It's
not, though. We just drove to Kentucky this past weekend, and it was like driving around and having all the open pastures and grass and not having to see corn and beans. And I know it's productive for Iowa, and I know it's great for our economy and all of that, but it was so pretty driving through that land.
But I think that a lot of times people get that they want something different than what they're used to. And so, as Iowans, we look at mountains and oceans and islands and whatever, instead of really saying, look, like this is pretty.
You really think people drive through Iowa and are like, oh, these cornfields and these bean fields are beautiful?
No.
Exactly.
I don't. But I think that I don't really look at cornfields and bean fields exactly like that, but I also can see the certain elements of beauty that are in there. Like in Grant Wood's paintings, he captures it. And I think that, when we look at Grant Wood's paintings, we see a different Iowa than maybe we might look at out the car window or flying over in an airplane,
capture it
as we're traveling over from East Coast to West Coast or something. But anyway, I think that everything is relative. I think that you should hopefully be able to find beauty wherever you're at, and if you can't, you haven't looked hard enough. But maybe that's just me. What do I know? I color for a living.
Yeah. Wait for it. Knew that was coming. I mean, I kind of get what you're saying, but if I'm driving through a homeless refuge and there's food different. And whatever, I'm not going to find beauty in that. No, it's not. You said you can find beauty in anything. No, that's not true.
I said you can find beauty in anywhere you're at, and that doesn't necessarily mean because of somebody's situation that, like, you go downtown Des Moines or downtown any city in the world, you can go to that homeless shelter, and that might not be the most glamorous place to go, but I'm sure you could walk down the block and find somewhere that is beautiful. You can find a river, or you can find a bridge,
well, of course,
or you can find a building, or you can find a house, or you can find a piece of landscape or something that's beautiful about where you're at, that's not necessarily dictated by the fact that your circumstance of life at that particular time. And sometimes life is hard like that. But if you just focus on the negative, pessimist, maybe you could...
I actually am innately probably more of a...
You are.
I have to work at being positive, but I work at being positive.
You are very pessimistic.
I do think... No, I am not. You are so full of it. I am not a pessimistic person.
You are. You are a pessimistic person. Like you said, you have to work at not being...
I think most people that know me that would say I'm a very optimistic person, they don't know I have to work at being... That I'm not innately that.
Yeah.
That I have to work at. They don't know that.
But I see the work. And sometimes I think you got to work harder.
Well, I think it's hard to find. Very funny. I think Iowa, Nebraska, those two are two places that it's. I mean, you're right. I think Grant Wood captured the beauty, but man, there are two places that just don't have a lot of.
I mean, it's long
landscape,
and
beautiful landscapes that other states do.
Yeah, I mean, they're long and flat and boring to drive through, but again,
I'm not saying the people aren't beautiful. I'm not saying the businesses aren't beautiful. I'm just saying our landscape here is very plain. And so you are right. I think he did a great job of capturing it and making it as beautiful as it could be. I think.
So the next thing on the topic while you're thinking.
Yeah.
Is what?
I'm not sure.
Oh, I thought we did the
Oh,
card.
well, okay.
And then we started talking about how beautiful Iowa is, and we're about a half hour into this program, and we haven't done.
Well, that's because the journey in the archive I did was the Grant Wood, so we're just kind of really rolling right into it because I watched the Grant Wood video that you put up. I don't know how many years ago. That was an old one because that.
Yeah, that was
the
Grant Wood one. Let me think. It's been a long time since I've stumbled across.
I don't remember how old that
Wood
was, but you definitely were. I'm going to say that was like 10 years ago.
Where does it even start?
You had
at?
your one Amish. I always think they're Amish looking bibs. What are those? You used to love wearing them in the art room.
There, was it in the art room?
I don't know. It was in the art room. You were just wearing those bibs that. You were just skinny as hell in that video. Like it was way back when I first knew you.
Man, I was skinny as hell, boy.
Yeah.
Not.
You say you were skinny looking.
Not my fat years.
No, I never said you were
my
fat.
Round
I said
years.
You were skinny as hell back then. But anyway, it was the Grant Wood video that I went back and watched.
Was there anything interesting in there? Was there like a clip it or a thing that stood out to you in that?
Not really, because we learned so much when we went to that. I mean, all of the stuff that you brought up, we'd either talked about or listened to, or yeah.
So golly, I was pretty spot on then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good video, but I kind of knew all of the pieces of Grant Wood. I do want to ask you, like, you feel like that it was a positive piece. The American Gothic piece, like he was trying to portray a positive thing with that picture, not like there's so many different interpretations of that.
There are some people that think that he was trying to be kind of funny, kind of making fun of the Iowa farmer, but he wasn't. I can't believe that, because I
never
know
answered when people asked him that, though. From what I got or what I gathered. Like when people would ask him certain things about that painting, mm-hmm. He would never give an answer.
Well, I think that if there's a mystery around it, then it'll draw people in,
right? But I'm just asking what your interpretation.
Again, as I've said already, my interpretation is that he would not make fun of the Iowa farmer because I know how much he loved the Iowa farmer. Now, as I had said I assume I said this in the video. I've been saying this for a long time. I've made several videos about American Gothic, and in all of the videos that I've ever put out about American Gothic, I have said that this is a painting of the farmer and the farmer's daughter. And there are lots of people like, no way. And the guy at the thing said it's not. It's a farmer and his daughter. And it is a painting of a father. And you're looking at the picture from the perspective of a prospective suitor for his daughter, like a guy that's coming to take her out on a date, and he is holding the pitchfork.
But he never said that, right?
No, but that's the impression that I tend to lean toward. He never specifically said that, but that's a lot of art critics and a lot of art people, and I tend to agree with it. That's what that is. It's the farmer establishing rules and structure that, damn it, this is my daughter, and you by God better have her back or I'm going to run you through.
I did not know until he said it, which makes sense, but it is like the second most popular face besides the Mona Lisa.
Well, and I would It's definitely one of the most parodied. It's definitely in the top 3 parodied artworks. It's definitely, and it's not number 1. It's definitely behind Mona Lisa.
So who was up there besides American Gothic?
Well, I've got a video on that. You can check that out on all the top 11 parodied works in the world.
I'm not asking the top parodied works. I'm asking the top famous faces and paintings.
That I don't know. But I would say that American Gothic would be, behind Mona Lisa for sure. She's definitely the most famous
Who
face.
else would be up there? This is me putting you on the spot.
The girl with the pearl earring
I do know
would
that
be
one.
up there. I think a Van Gogh self-portrait would be up there. I think like a Picasso. There's got to be a Picasso type face, like a Cubist sort of face, that would be up there as one of the top recognized. Maybe the Blue Guitarist by Picasso from his Blue period. There's lots of works from throughout art history, that are pretty famous, and I don't know which face is the most famous face, but those are all.
That'd be a good video.
Yeah, good idea.
Top 10 faces of
I always do 11.
famous faces.
I always do 11.
Top 11.
I don't know why. I do know why. It's very conscious, but I do always do 11. Anyway, the point of the matter, the thick and the thin of it, is that I come up with lots of ideas for videos that sometimes they get made, and sometimes I've got ideas just jotted down. I'll add this one to the list. See if I can find the time to make it.
I'm sure you can.
So we've looked at some Grant Wood. We've looked at, we talked, this is pretty much the Grant Wood episode.
It is.
Welcome to Iowa.
Well, there's nothing wrong with.
Welcome to Iowa. We're going to talk about Grant Wood.
There's nothing wrong with spending a video talking about Grant Wood and Iowa and Stone City, because it is.
It's so beautiful. And who would have known
I did not say Iowa was beautiful.
I know you
I
didn't,
just said it was
you're
enjoyable. I just said it was enjoyable going to. And kudos to the people that were running the tour of the studio.
Yeah.
I thought they did a great job, and they even offered private tours to art teachers.
Well,
Mr. Burgher here.
I don't think they just offer that to anybody. I threw out the old "I'm Mr. Burgher" card, and man,
America's favorite art teacher, and she was like, "Oh, here,
what? America's favorite art teacher?
When can
Holy
I give you
smokes!
a private tour?
Can you come in for a private one? We'll let you look at everything." Yeah.
Yeah.
Although there were some pretty fascinating things in the room, and how he designed the space, and the bathroom, and the living quarters.
It had a sunken bathtub in it, which was way cool. I have never seen anything like that before. It was because
he sunk the bathtub because of that's where the hole
hay.
was for the hay mound.
But plus the wall was like sloped.
Yeah.
And his mom, he was very particular. It sounds like he was very much a mama's boy.
Well, that's another video for another day, but yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And there were some facts of Grant Wood's life that I think they purposefully don't touch on, which I understand.
Which you had to question and ask, because you wanted to see if they would touch on it, and he just kind of
go over. Well, there were a couple things that I kind of poked at him, but I wasn't going to push too hard. I didn't. What was the question
about him being married?
Oh yeah, I said I did ask a question about, was he living here when his mom arranged his marriage, and he answered, but he kind of didn't answer. Yeah, he didn't. You could tell he didn't want to talk about that too much. And there were a couple other folks standing around there talking, and at the end of the formal thing, and they were asking, because we were the last group of the day.
Yeah.
So there were people kind of just milling around, just kind of,
and they stayed late, and yeah.
And yeah, so it was super cool. But anyway, there was a couple people that were asking some questions and about his dad, and his dad passing away, and how they came to live in the town. And
they actually have another cool thing from the plant that the mom was holding in. What's the name of that painting called?
It's just a portrait of his mom.
It's named something, though, isn't it?
I'm sure it has a name.
It's a portrait of his mom holding a plant.
Yeah.
That plant, which was also in the background of American Gothic.
The plant was in the background of American Gothic as well.
They have pieces of that original plant from his studio.
The cuttings. Yeah.
Yes, the cuttings downstairs, which was way cool. And I kind of wanted to get one just to say I had one. But
you would have killed it.
It doesn't look like it's a hard plant to keep alive, but... that was pretty cool. If you're a plant person, that'd be a cool piece of history to have.
And actually, I kind of thought about that too. But then I thought, maybe they'd cut a deal for America's favorite art teacher.
God, give me a
but then I thought, nah, they probably won't.
Maybe you should make him a t-shirt and send it to him, and then...
Yeah, I'll trade you a t-shirt for a
piece of the plant
cutting. Piece of the cutting.
Yeah, but if you think about that, that is a way cool. I mean, because that was 1930.
Yeah.
32, and this plant is
Yeah, it's almost 100 years old.
Yeah. So maybe we need to go back and get a piece of the
plant.
Maybe
we need to go back. We'll make another trip. Maybe we'll get a hold of the art person and do another video on it.
We could do a private tour. And
do a private tour and just do a video of that.
Okay. Well,
we'll see. Anyway.
Thanks for watching our episode that was mainly on Grant Wood and Louise Bourgeois. A very small piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really enjoyed that, so we hope you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, kind of a different episode, but they all are. They're all unique. They're like our children. Just unique in their own little way. Special little things. Anyway.
Thanks for watching.
Have a good one.